there, and welcome to today's daily premium newsletter for June 5th, 2018. So the market regained composure after yesterday's tumultuous dip, making back most of what we lost from the total market cap. That being said, volume remains on the low side, so expect more of this choppy market until that changes. As an indication of a frustrated market, Bitcoin shorts are starting to climb as more people are betting for a lower bottom. But it's not all bad. We're happy to see that a top 20 coin reached a new all-time high today. The first one to do so since EOS did a month ago during the early May bull rally. Binance Coin, or BNB, continues to surge as Binance continues to be the most popular exchange of the cryptocurrency world. The company's consumer-friendly approach to cryptocurrency trading and low fees have helped them skyrocket to the #1 position now just 11 months after going live. The recently announced Community Influence Fund, which will be denominated in Binance's BNB coin, will be a $1 billion fund aimed at startups, and Binance is looking to back funds with at least $100 billion in capital and a focus on blockchain. This will help Binance transcend the role of an exchange and allow them to truly influence the space. But they're not trying to inflate the ICO bubble. In fact, the head of the fund, Ella Zhang, was quoted in an interview with Bloomberg saying that the ICO bubble needs to burst. We see this as a necessary evil. It's no question that over the last year, the bull market we've experienced has been positive because it attracts interest in new projects. However, as we've seen and experienced with this bear market, the unfortunate side effect is that this has led to an unsustainable market filled with unsustainable expectations. Already this year, the ICO market has raised more than $9 billion, surpassing the entirety of 2017's amount raised. What needs to happen, and what we've already seen happening, is that projects without scope or capital will die off, hopefully leaving the truly good projects. Not only is this ideal for investor expectations becoming grounded in reality, but it will also aid in the decision-making process that regulators are engaging in. If they see the market can self-regulate, that the crypto space is defined not by bad ICOs, but by legitimate projects with legitimate objectives, they will be much more inclined to work with this space and not against it. There's no doubt that the ICO market is a changing landscape, and the markets will benefit from them no matter what happens. Hopefully, culture, security, and regulation grow in parallel, and the scam ICOs can be a thing of the past. Meanwhile, another coin that's in our consideration today is Walton Chain, which soared 10% with the news that they're planning to release a big announcement on June 8th. In fact, I'm going to be going to South Korea and China this week to give you an exclusive coverage of this event and show you the progress the team has made this year. While unconfirmed, we speculate that Walton Chain will announce on June 8th a collaboration with the South Korean government in opening their new blockchain research education center. This is obviously a very big step for Walton Chain and the space as a whole, as the center will offer free blockchain education to students looking to build blockchain projects. Not only that, but this signifies a dramatic step forward for blockchain acceptance and adoption. I look forward to covering this event and giving you an inside look into one of the most promising projects in the space. Another coin on our radar today was Ripple. Ripple is a contentious topic in this cryptocurrency community, as it's accused of being centralized and therefore not truly a cryptocurrency. But there can be no doubt that it's had significant impact in pushing for financial market acceptance of cryptocurrency. Its functionality makes it stand out from the rest of the market, and that is financial institutions' acceptability. Ripple's continued success has stemmed from its ability to ride on the shoulders of financial institutions through partnerships. In an interview today with CNBC, the CEO of Ripple claimed that Ripple had in the works partnerships with dozens of banks by the end of next year. Meanwhile, cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex suffered a direct denial of service or DDoS attack. DDoS attacks are a dangerous weapon criminals use to force a website to shut down by overloading its resource bandwidth. Updates on the exchange dedicated incident log confirmed the attack lasted approximately 2 hours. Bitfinex acknowledged hackers had exploited their earlier downtime due to infrastructure problems, as the DDoS attack hit right as the developers brought the service back online. Now, we continue to recommend that traders and investors stay away from Bitfinex, as this is not the first time they've been attacked, and they've been subject to multiple hacks in the past, resulting in the loss of customer funds. Last for today, Samsung announced that they're launching their own blockchain platform, Next Finance, for finance-related businesses. The platform would provide digital finance businesses cutting-edge technology to transform their services. So that's it for today's news cycle. There's been a lot of news this week, and most of it's been pretty good. So as I mentioned, I'm going to be on the road starting tomorrow, but I will still be reporting from the road, so don't expect any delay in the newsletter as Doc is going to be holding down the fort while I'm gone, and I look forward to filling you guys in during my trip. So for his thoughts on today's market, I'll turn it over to Doc. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey guys, Doc here for ReadySetCrypto. We have a little bit of green across the board here with about 90 minutes left in the trading day for the crypto world. And kind of like what we talked about yesterday, we're seeing this little rally here. Is this just the beginning of something, or is this just another one of these annoying little lower highs like this? Little lower highs, is this a lower high? Or is this the beginning of something where we're going to see this thing blast off? Well, again, this is where we need to apply our box. This is where we need to frame in that price action like this. And this is what we do. So we now know the lower extent of the box. We now know the upper extent of the box. If we see this break out to the upside above 7,800, then game on, right? So any longs that we're going to have, we can expect them to extend. Otherwise, if we see the price pull down below this level 7,400, so it's amazing to think that this box here is 400 points wide, but there it is. So if that's what the case is, then it's just, printing another lower high, and in the midst of a bear market, weekly downtrend, that's what we would expect to see. Now, we are starting to see, and this is what I like, we are starting to see the volatility of these swings go down. So the realized volatility is actually getting smaller and smaller and smaller. We're kind of like winding into this great big apex here. Now, which way is it going to break from there? That's a good question. We don't know that. We have to set up our boundaries and then simply play with that as well too. Now, across the board, we're seeing on the top 10, we're seeing like Ethereum is coming up to this descending trend line. Okay, if it breaks above there, then that's good. Things like Ripple's had a good day, seems to be breaking higher across the board. So, yeah, like I said, the top 10 is doing well. Now, if I go down to the screener, one that pops to mind here is actually Walton Chain has had a good day. Based on perhaps rumors about what may be happening later on this week. Maybe that's popping up due to Mav making his little trip out there. Who knows? Could be anything these days in crypto. Now, one of the coins I've been yakking about with you guys over the last couple of weeks or so has been Binance Coin. So BNB, and we talked about it, here. We talked about it here. So this one's been around for quite some time, and this is the kind of pattern that we like to see. We like to see slightly descending patterns breaking to the upside. We like to see descending patterns breaking to the upside. And again, this is almost fractal in nature because the consolidations are getting shorter and shorter. Look how long this one's half the length, this one's half the length of that one, this one's half the length of this one, and then it just continues to cruise higher. And this is overall just this great big ascending triangle pattern, which is universally bullish. Now, an ascending triangle pattern generally has a target, which is the open end of the triangle. So wherever you determine the open end of that triangle is pretty much the upside target for this one. This is an extremely bullish chart. And so the entry to this is perhaps not that critical. So if you didn't catch the entry on this one, because I talked about the trend line to look for was about 0.0019, and I did not get the greatest entry on it, but an entry is an entry. And maybe I'm being a little bit unrealistic in the midst of a bear market, but I'm going to shoot for a 30% return on this one. So I'm going to set this up in my broker and just let it fester. And that's what you do with a good till cancel order. Just set it and forget it. And again, what I like to do with these trades is I like to set them up with a fixed risk apportionment, right? So you set it up with the position size that represents only a small fraction of your account, and then you can just let it go. Let it do what it's going to do, and you're not risking that much. So trade small, trade often is the way to stay in this business. Now, just one final thing here in the oh, by the way category is what I talked about when we first started noticing the bear market back in February is, look, when this bear finally bottoms out, nobody will want to be on board. And this is based on my experience with bear markets in the equity markets, some of which have been epic and just soul-crushing bear markets are really tough. And quite honestly, the bear market that we've seen for the previous 5-6 months in crypto has been equally soul-crushing. I mean, seriously, an 80% bear, that is unheard of in the equity markets. I mean, usually what you get is up to maybe 30 to 40% is about as bad as it gets, and that is considered a generational bear. But crypto typically does things faster, does things deeper, does things more intensely, and that is certainly what we've seen so far. Now, again, we cannot hold a candle to the bear that occurred in 2014, 2015. That was a full 18 months of agony. And so we're only 6 months into this one, so hopefully we don't have to go through that same thing. But what I like taking away from this article is that nobody cares anymore. Nobody's paying attention. And when I say nobody, I mean people from the outside world. They did their investment in Bitcoin back in December. They bought in at the highs. They puked out at the lows. And they're gone, never to return. And this is where you will see markets rally from bears like this. This is what happens, guys. When nobody's looking, all of a sudden you get this surreptitious rally that comes out of nowhere. That's why it's called the disbelief rally, because nobody can believe it. Nobody's on board. And that's what happens. That's when markets rally, is when nobody's looking, all of a sudden it's going sky high. And then the cycle returns again because everybody starts looking at it right there. Then it sells off, dumps off all the weekend pikers, and then it goes again. And this is how markets operate. Markets are designed, Machiavellian style, to inflict the greatest amount of pain upon the largest cross-section of traders out there. And it will do this again and again and again. So our job is to get you on the side of the smart money. Our job is to get you so that you're buying things long in a market that's going higher, and not to overinvest in a market that's going lower. Okay, so we can do these little swing trades. We can have fun with the little swing trades, but we're not going to pull out the heavy cannons, the big artillery, until we start to see a market trending to the upside. Let's have patience. All right, guys, that is it for today's report. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.